Good morning, my fellow yogic travelers. I'm mighty glad to be alive today, and I hope that you are too, as we continue to live, laugh, love, learn, linger, live the life we love. Remember L'chaim for my Jewish friends out there. All right, I'm here in sunny South Florida. To err is human, to err is pirate. So I got my skull earring on for you who are following my accessorizing is everything, as you know. It's Wednesday, so it's supposedly bad joke day. You know, if you have a Jewish mother, she's called a bubby, and a diminutive phrase that is like bubala, like little grandma. But it's also a diminutive phrase that they use for like children. So it's time for this little child to go to school. So the grandmother says, "So bubala, when you go to school, you're going to behave nice, and bubala, when you go to school, you'll do the family proud." You listen to the teacher and respect what she says. Okay. And Bubla, you're going to play nicely with the other children. So Bubla, you're not going to make any problems. Okay. Have a nice day in school. So kid goes to school, comes back, and immediately the bubby says, "So what did you learn today, Bubla?" "I learned my name was Irving." All right. So fasten your seats, everybody, because I'm about to take the audience prisoner. Right? Shall we have at it? Very good. When you practice yoga, you overcome timidity and you get a backbone of steel. So if you've been sulking around, I'm going to teach you that you got buoyancy within you. But the price you got to pay, there's always tax on every system, is you got to practice. You can't just do this intellectually. It's the best way of understanding yoga, however exciting it is to talk about these things, is through practicing. You understand yoga by yoga. Practicing yoga. So we're all confronted with personal inadequacies, tyrannical or political systems that are oppressive, social orders that discount the individual, make them capitulate to the norm of the group. And of course, there's always the brutality of nature, whether it's the tsunami, the hurricane, the gale force, the tornado, the eruptions of volcanoes and so forth. But yoga ultimately teaches you a radical discontinuity, a descent, if you will, that clearly separates issues of the body, which we could say is being in the world of materiality, and spiritual issues, identifying yourself with something that is not so easily defined, so that makes it seem abstract. It's invisible. It can't be found in a form except in the romance of your imagination. And it's universal. It pertains to everybody. That's why it's often called a vision of unity. It's a vibratory force, an electrical field as powerful as electricity that connects everybody, which is why we want to be connected, because we already are. But the idea is we want to consciously realize it and not just intellectually know it. So this is a literary tradition, an oral tradition, and it makes one aspect of ourself connected to everything that's been bequeathed to us from our ancestors before us. And although we may think there are things that are anachronistic, atavistic from the old world that doesn't transfer into the contemporary world, but yes, there's other assumptions that are just as true now as it was when people first understood this. And so all of yoga is about facing the existential problem of life itself. Your life is like a Zen koan. And as Emerson said, your life is a hieroglyphic, a solution in hieroglyphics to the questions you would put. But you must live through it first as reality before you apprehend it as truth. Your life is a solution in hieroglyphics to the questions you would put, but you must live it first as reality before you apprehend it as truth. So I certainly came from a psychedelic background, and the criticisms that psychoactive substances helped open in my intellect helped me question all the cultural assumptions that became the zeitgeist of my generation in the late 60s. But it taught me to evolve beyond polarities, to see dualisms, to see these different dvandvas, as it's called in yoga, the opposites, the pairs of opposites, and see the Tao or the whole that surrounds the yin and yang of life. Because to accept the whole or the self, the wholeness or the self with a capital S, is to realize that there's something within a human being that can harmonize and transcend the opposites. And this part has no problem accepting the different apparent splits or polarities that exist because they're held together on a continuum. So yoga has taught me how to navigate through the negativities of life, which we'll all have to face. And hopefully we don't make it worse by the choices we make, which is why we're supposed to have a self-critique based on our own ignorance. We have to assume there's a lot we don't know instead of continuing to defend what we think we know and not being open to new things. So if we're going to create a society with a default interaction that strangers can trust each other, well, it begins with each one of us. First, are you trustworthy? And can you recognize that vibration in another person that makes you drop your guard down, be willing to have some vulnerability and weakness, which, remember, always teaches you that you can't do it alone. You need other people to help you. And then you respect your own individuality, number one. And then you find what are the main principles of Western psychology, Western philosophy, and when correctly understood, Western religious tradition, is the sovereignty and the divinity of the individual. And that's what society is really built on, that everything works for the individual rather than the individual only working for society, which of course you do, but you do it by finding your own mission, going your own way, and then by fulfilling your own personal destiny or fate, you give your gifts back to society in service. So I hope you all can understand why I say reconfigure your whole life. Yoga can be the solution. I never say it's the only solution or the best solution. It's the one for me, but it's also a rubric for anything you do to live your life better. And mythologically, these stories try to teach you that the hero and the adversary are flip sides of the same thing, whether it's Christ and Satan, Batman and the Joker, and Superman and Lex Luthor, Snow White and the Evil Queen. It doesn't matter. The polarities are there for you to see and transcend. So just remember, there's a hole in reality that's just your size, and it's waiting for you to fill it.